Humanity is obsessed with its own downfall. We've had numerous stories through the years depicting just how this may come about, but while some shows opt for an action-packed drama bordering on a soap opera, others adopt a much more thought-provoking look at the end of civilization. Nestled in the middle of this is Earth That Bites, a decidedly slower and gentler series based on the 1949 post-apocalyptic novel sporting the same name. The show has a much more optimistic tone overall, despite some dramatic spikes and a rather bleak opening episode, which is definitely different from the majority of others in this field. Unfortunately, where the series slips up is with its characterization, or lack thereof, showing that not every book can actually make the jump across to the small screen in an effective way. On the one hand, it's good that the show at least takes on some of the aspects from the novel, but the story has been reworked in different ways, with characters and events occurring in alternate orders, and instead of 3 parts like the book, we get constant time jumps across the 6 episodes, progressing years at a time. For those unaware, Earth Abides follows the downfall of humanity, told through the eyes of a survivalist called Ish. While out in the woods, he ends up bitten by a snake. He's incapacitated during the entirety of a nasty virus that spreads across the world, wiping out almost everybody. When Ish awakens several weeks later, he finds that he, and a select lucky few, are immune to the virus. What transpires from here is the typical end of the world scenario, as Ish tries to find survivors and make sense of this new world order. Along the way, Ish befriends numerous individuals, with time jumps coming thick and fast as we move all the way up to 22 years since the virus, and eventually 50 years after the outbreak. Along the way, Ish ends up in a relationship with another survivor called Emma, and they have kids together, while there are newcomers that end up in their community, which they've dubbed Sam Lupo. As the series hits a midway point, a bus full of newcomers arrives at the camp, including a man named Charlie, whose motives are unclear at the time of arrival. I won't spoil what happens, but the episodes he's featured in are easily the standouts of the whole show. There's a perfect balance here of drama, characterization and tension that I just wish the rest of the series adopted too. The story does make changes from the book, and for the most part they make sense for this small screen adaptation. Late on, we also do see ideas of faith and religion sneak into the story, and they're used relatively well too. The problem with Earth Abides, however, mostly resides around those aforementioned time jumps. We never get a chance to see relationships blossom, or characters interact in meaningful ways with foreshadowing or payoffs because we keep jumping forward in time. There's ongoing tensions between Ish and his children, for example, which are never properly resolved because we keep cutting forward and missing the meat of the drama. Meanwhile, we get a recovering alcoholic wrestling with the demons of her past, but don't really see her struggles with trying to give it up, nor how she's helped by the community, despite it being the perfect sort of show for that. We also get a woman suffering from PTSD because of a traumatic event that occurs in this show, but again, we don't see how the community band together and help her beyond a meeting right after the incident and a couple of dialogue heavy scenes a year later. It's so frustrating too, because there are parts of this show that work so well, and the ideas that are here are just screaming to be mined and explored in more detail. However, Earth Abides is in such a hurry to tick off those main plot beats that it never stops with enough time to allow us to warm to the characters that go on this journey too. It's also a little disappointing that the show doesn't leave room open for the third part of the book, which is barely touched upon here, to explore in a future season. But given how this one ends, it would appear that the intention is to keep this as a standalone miniseries for the time being. The main plot does work quite well though, and as mentioned earlier, this is a far gentler and tranquil look at the end of the world, even with those pockets of drama thrown in along the way. That drama does come in different flavours too, including a plague of rats that looks set to cause devastation, a potential resurgence of the virus, and a big cat attack. Visually, Earth Abides looks great, and as the years tick by, there's definitely a consistent effort made to mix the beautiful natural world in with the crumbling urban remains of what's left behind. Little shots of skyscrapers choked with ivy or playgrounds overrun with weeds and large trees give the perfect representation of Mother Nature reclaimed world, and it largely maintains an aura of post-apocalyptic beauty throughout. The music is also worth pointing out here, with an excellent haunting score for the main credits. Each episode is slightly different in the scenes that it shows on this too, which is a nice touch and encourages you to actually watch the credits. On the whole, the acting is pretty good too, although Alexander Ludwig is a definite standout for his portrayal of Ish. The rest of the cast are decent in their roles, but I just wish we got more of them so we could get the same love and attention that Ish's character receives. Earth Abides is definitely a slower prospect compared to other post-apocalyptic romps though, and its optimistic and hopeful tone may alienate some looking for a series with a bit more meat on its bones. There are spikes of tension here, but on the whole this is very much a tranquil drama and a careful character piece. If that sounds like your jam, Earth Abides definitely has enough in the tank to make for an easy recommendation. Thanks for watching, and do let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Smash a like or subscribe to the channel, your support is very much appreciated. I'm Greg Wheeler, and from all of us over here at The Review Geek, we'll see you on the next video.